once they're online, we can probably get that started if that's okay with everyone. The students, do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Go around robin. Devin?
Hello, I'm Devin. I graduated from John Champ High School, and I'm attending George Mason University in the fall, and I'm majoring in physics.
Nice. Suhas?
Hi, I'm Suhas. I graduated from Chantilly High School, and I will be attending University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign for computer science.
Shruti? Put you on the spot there, sorry. Shruti, it's not coming through your audio. Still can't hear you. Can you try to disconnect and connect back? And Sukshit?
Yeah, hello. My name is Suchet Sapre. I graduated from TJHSST, and I'm attending Georgia Tech in the fall studying computer science.
Aditya?
Hi, I'm Aditya Kara. I graduated Langley High School this year, and then I'm going to Columbia University in New York next year to study computer science and linguistics.
Nice. Samyukta? Sorry if I mispronounced that.
No problem. My name is Samyukta. I graduated from Briarwoods High School in Loudoun County, and I'm going to be attending Duke University in the fall, and I'm planning on studying public policy and economics.
Nice. Mehul?
My name is Mehul. I graduated from Severna Park High School in Anne Arundel County. I'll be attending UC Berkeley in the fall to study economics.
Shruti, let's give that another go.
Sure. Okay. I'm Shruti. I graduated from Centennial High, and I'm going to UMBC to study biology in the fall.
Nice. Vineet, I think you might have just joined us. We're kind of doing like a quick introduction of the students. If you can also turn on your video too.
This is actually Mehul's dad. We couldn't get the streaming going on YouTube.
Okay, gotcha. So Chandra, I assume, I don't know, Chandra Uncle, I don't know if you're, we have another one that's Chandra.
Yeah, this is for my daughter Harsha.
Harsha, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Jai Raman Uncle, I think we're just waiting on Raja and Murli, priest, correct?
Can Vijay or Vasu send the link again to Raja, please? He doesn't seem to have the right link. He said he's on a Zoom invite that no one is in. Please send it to puja@ssvt.org and priest@ssvt.org.
Okay. Puja, and what is the other one?
Priest@ssvt.org. Technical difficulties come and go, guys. That's life.
Pandit Tripathi, can you also check your video, please?
So I guess we can kind of keep it a little bit light this morning, but now that we've all been home for 3.5 months or so, what are some new hobbies you guys might have picked up on? Something that you never would have imagined you would have picked up in the past 3.5 months. For me, trying to figure out how to work Zoom is one of those things. So if you guys want to go, open floor.
Well, since we were talking about like video editing and like sound mixing earlier, I was hearing the conversation. Actually, I've been doing some more of that stuff as well, since like a lot of I'm in part of I can't talk. I'm part of some Carnatic music stuff. I play the guttam, so some of the groups that I'm a part of have moved online to social media. So I've actually been doing a lot of like video editing and sound mixing. So that's something that I didn't think I would ever get to do, which is pretty cool.
Gotcha. I think we're almost ready there. Jairam and Uncle, you might be on mute.
I am on mute. The temple has joined in. They're just connecting to the audio right now, so I think we can start.
கேக்குதா சார் நாங்க பேசுறது?
நல்லா கேக்குதுப்பா. Thank you.
அவங்க கேக்குறாங்க ஆரம்பிக்கலாமான்னு.
இல்ல ஒரு 5 நிமிஷம்.
ஓகே, அப்ப நீங்க சொன்னீங்கன்னா ஆரம்பிப்பாங்க, ரெடியா இருக்கு.
Sure.
Okay, Vasu Uncle,
can we start?
Yep.
Okay. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. My name is Vasumurthy. We will start with a Shanti Mantra from Taittiriya Upanishad and portions of instruction to graduates from Shikshavali. Om Sham No Mitra Sham Varunaha Sham No Bhavatvaryama Sham Naindro Bruhaspatihi Sham No Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmani Namaste Vayo Tvamiva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvamiva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Krutam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Now for a little bit of Shikshavalli. Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara Swadhyayanma Pramadaham Acharyaya Priyam Dhanamahritya Prajatantam Mam Vyapachetsvihi Satyanna Pramaditavyam Dharmanna Pramaditavyam Kushalanna Pramaditavyam Bhutyena Pramaditavyam Swadhyayaya Pravachanabhyam Na Pramaditavyam Matrudevo Bhava Pitrudevo Bhava Acharya Devo Bhava Adithi Devo Bhava Yanyanavadyani Karmani Tani Sevitavyani No Itarani Yanyasmakam Sucharitani Tani Tvayopasyani No Idarani. This is the greatest ever keynote address at a graduation event delivered thousands of years ago. These provide ethical guidelines for dharmic living, apply equally to graduates and to all human beings. In the interest of time, we will provide translations for these wonderful guidelines on the SSVT website. Now I hand over to Jairam for some instructions. Jairam for some instructions.
Thank you very much, Vasuji. I think everybody is already probably aware of Zoom video transmission these days. So one of the things that we always, the first thing that I request is, please go on mute if you're not talking. That cuts out the backend noises that is there. And as I already mentioned, if you have another family member, unfortunately, we are not live streaming on YouTube. If you have another family member in Zoom, please ask them to locate to another room so that there's no feedback while we are having an interactive session with you. And go to the strongest area in your house where the Wi-Fi signal is very strong. If you're going wired, you will not have that trouble. And that's about, I think, most of them, the lighting and everything for the students who've joined in, it all seems to be good. So let's begin. Manju, back to you.
Perfect, thank you. Good morning to the class of 2020. Congratulations and welcome to today's graduation puja and award ceremony. We have a great program lined up for you this morning. It'll start off with a homa and blessings by priest Murli Shankar Shastri from SSVT, as well as Pandit Tripathi from Rajdhani Mandir, followed by a welcome message by our SSVT chairperson. Then we'll hear from our student speaker, Nisha Ramamurthy, as well as followed by our keynote addresses by Chief Judge Srinivasan and Hari Srinivasan. We'll then head into our award ceremony, honoring you, the graduates of the class of 2020. We'll end the program with a chance for the students to interact with all of us, to get to know you and kind of, learn what you guys have been doing these past 3.5 months or so. We'll end the program with a word of thanks, and that's pretty much it. So sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of the program. Jai Raman Uncle, I hand it back to you to introduce our priest.
Thank you, Manju. So from the SSVT side, we have Sri Murli Shankar Shastri, who's a Rigveda Vaidika priest. As part of some of his core studies that he's done Rigveda Samhita for 5 years in Sarve Gyanat Mendra Saraswati Swamigal Rigveda Pathshala. Pathshala is a Sanskrit word for a school in Brahmadesham. Kramantam for 2 years in Shankara Gurukula Veda Pathshala, again in Hyderabad. Ganantam for 2 years in Sri Devi Veda Vidyalaya Pathshala in Sri Sailam, Andhra Pradesh. Veda Bhashyam for 7 years at Brahmasri Mahopadhyaya Krishnamurti Sastrigal at Brahma Vidya Gurukulam in Chennai, that's in the state of Tamil Nadu. And also Vaidika Purva Prayogam and Vaidika Apara Prayogam. He's been performing both these services for the past 11 years. He's very knowledgeable in Tamil, Sanskrit, English, and also Telugu. And he's been with the Shiva Vishnu family since 2016, February. The other priest that we have is from Rajdhani Mandir, and his name is Sriman Pandit Tripathi Ji. He's been serving Rajdhani Mandir for nearly 20 years now. He's the lead priest at the temple, and he coordinates the 7 priest activities, ensuring that the festivals, events, community activities, and the children's education are all held in a coordinated manner, including programs, senior programs, yogas, the Mata Jagran ceremonies that they have. They're all well executed. He makes sure that he coordinates all of them. He's invited to perform in religious ceremonies and weddings all over the country and outside the US. He has even united the Hindu worshippers to the mandir from Caribbean and Gujarati communities migrated from Africa. He was also instrumental in the Prana Pratishtha, or the installation of several deities. He's extremely well versed in the sampradayas and performs even at the Murugan and the Ayyappa Puja, performs Murugan and Ayyappa Pujas. He's a master or Acharya in Vyakaran, as it's called, a B.Ed 1991, along with the Acharya in Sahita. I do not know what YR is. In Panditji, if you can explain what the YR is, that'll be helpful. And he was ranked the first as in the VHP priest training program in 1999. His family, with a wife of 2 children, they live presumably in the Virginia area. Back to you, Manju.
Perfect, thank you. So Krishna Swami Uncle, can you tell us the significance of the Homa that we're about to watch or witness? What is why do we have that in Hindu rituals?
Homam or Havan or Yajnam is a Vedic fire ritual in which divine presence is invoked into fire using specific procedures. It's an ancient practice, and in Homam, materials are offered into the fire along with sacred chants or mantras. It is believed that the offerings are destined to reach God or God of fire. Agni, or the fire, acts as an intermediary between the Yajamana, who does the homam, or on whose behalf it is done, and the gods to whom we pray for our welfare. In Hinduism teaches that gods come into fire and receive the prayers of the spiritual aspirants. Even when one meditates without an external fire, gods being meditated on come into the internal fire of the aspirant and receive the mantras via that fire. However, it is said that the internal fire is quite weaker for normal human beings than an external fire for most of the people. Hence, it is beneficial to perform the worship using an external fire. That practice eventually strengthens the internal fire also. The internal fire burns this in the subtle body, Sushma Sarira, and one of the inner energy bodies that we have. With suitable spiritual practices, the internal fire can burn the weaknesses of desire, anger, greed, fear, false prestige, jealousy, and so on, and develop positive attributes of compassion, empathy, kindness, humility, love, etc. So the Homa and the internal spiritual practice, sadhana, are mirror images of each other. When the Sanskrit, one of the homam facilitates burning of the various karmas also, which have created various layers of conditioning and thereby obstructing spiritual progress. One of the best mediums of sadhana is fire. One of the Sanskrit words for fire is pavaka, which means the one that purifies. Fire is pure and purifies everything that it comes in touch with. Homam is a most apt sadhana for most spiritual aspirants. If you notice carefully, when the yajamana or the priest in this case chants, when they offer namama, when they offer the offerings, they will say namama, which in Sanskrit, the Sanskrit word namama means it is not mine, implying we slowly give up our I or me, the ego. Apart from the personal benefits, there are other universal benefits of the homam. Ganapati homam is performed to beget the happiness, prosperity, and good health. Anyone is desirous of praying to any god to remove any obstacles is in his plan for work, business, action, etc. Always pray to Lord Ganesha in the beginning. As per Ganesha Puran, the many types of Ganapati Home can be done, and like Mahaganapati Homam, Ashtadravya, meaning with eight ingredients, Ashtadravya Homam, Sahasra Modaka Homam, etc. So this is a short description, and I think the homam can start now. I request the priest to start the homam. I mean, Manju, I turn it over to you. So.
Yep, so we will go ahead and get started with the Homa. Murli Shankar Shastri. Please begin. Yeah.
Om Namaste Raja Varno Namaste Brihaspati Namaste Prastham Karajata Bhuvam Parvata Divadinadani Indrajiveha Krishna Yarashtamudharaja Abhishtavam Yadaha Hare Santojan Pravaha Indrajivavrataha Krishna Devi Madhamadanadevaha Ram Vishwarupa Pashavo Vadanti Tano Mandreshu Murjanduhana Enurva Gasmanu Pasishtudedu Arambha Muhurta Shubha Muhurta Smriti Bhavanto Mahanto Nigranhanto Shubha Muhurta Stu Pratishtita Mastu Shubharatna Mastu. Devotees, we are going to do the SSVT management is decided to do the Mahaganapati Homam for those who are finished with graduation, for the children. They want to get a good life and good college and good studies. So For that, we are going to do the Mahaganapati Homa. So I'm going to chant the Mahasankalpam. Please follow with me. Om Shuklam Bharadram Vishnum Sasivarnam Jatadvajam Prasannavadhanam Dhyaye Sarvavighnopasantaye. Om Om Om. Dear devotees, please follow the Sankalpam with me. Mama Upatta Samasta Durita Kshagadvara Shri Parameshwara Prityartham Shubhabhyam Shubhe Shobhane Muhurte Adya Brahmanah Vidyavararthe Shvetavaraha Kalpe Vaivasvata Manvantare Ashtavimshati Tame Kaliyuge Prathame Pade Praunchadvipe Ramanagavarushe Gotirthakhande Meloho Paschime Parshve Sagadde Asmin Vartamane Vyavaharike Prabhavadi Shashtiyaha Samvatsarāṇāṃ Madhye Sharvari Nama Samvatsare Uttarayane Grishma Ritau Mithuna Mase Shukla Pakshe Adya Saptamyam Shubhatithau Vasaraha Stiravasara Yuktayam Uttrapalguni Nakshatra Yuktayam Shubhayoga Shubhakarana Evam Guna Visheshena Vishishtayam Asyam Vartamanayam Abhya Saptamyam Shubhatito Shri Vallabha Mahaganapati Anugraha Siddhyartham Visheshataha. Everybody please say your Gotra and your Nakshatra and your family members Nakshatra and names. Mama Sahakudumbasya Sarvesham Mahaganapati Paripurna Anugraha Prasadate Shema Dhairya Virya Vijaya Abhaya Ayushya Teja Arogya Siddhyartham Dharma Artha Kamya Moksha Chaturvidha Phalapurushartha Siddhyartham Mama Sahakudumbasya Sarvesham Vedokta Dirghayushaha Abhivruddhyartham Visheshataha Vidyarthinam Sakala Vidya Parangatatva Samsiddhyartham Sesham Sankalpita Prakarena Sarva Karyeshu Nirvighata Siddhyartham Tadvara Sarva Mangala Avapyartham Sarvakaryeshu Vidayatva Siddhyartham Asmin Stiravasara Punyakale Mahaganapati Havana Akhya Dharma Acharya Mukhena Dharma Karishye. Om Yetyagneramutpraha Gutamaha Amyakvane Yogaha Om Yetyagna Ihavodana Shiladatta Sabura Edabha Vanaha राजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदानश्रुण्वन्नो देवश्रीप्रसादनं स्वाहा महागणपतये नमः ॐ तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा महागणपतये नमः एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा महागणपतये नमः नमो प्रातपदये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपदये नमस्ते स्तुलम्बोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्नविनाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः स्वाहा महागणपतये नमः ॐ भद्रं ददातु ॐ भद्रं कर्णे विष्णुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभरिगजत्राः हरेरञ्जये स्तुष्टुभागं सस्तनोभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ गणपतये नमः ॐ नं नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव सर्वं कल्पितं ब्रह्मासि त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यम् ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा ॐ गणपतये नमः ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा अवत्वं मां ॐ गणपतये नमः अवत्वं माम् अवभक्तारम् अवश्रोतारम् अवदातारम् अवधातारम् अवानुचानमवशिष्यम् अवपश्चात्तात् अवपुरस्तात् अवोत्तरात्तात् अवदक्षिणात्तात् अवचोर्ध्वात्तात् अवाघरात्तात् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्तात् ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा ॐ गणपतये नमः त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वम् आनन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममयः त्वं सच्चिदानन्दाद्वितीयोऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा ॐ गणपतये नमः सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो जायते सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तिष्ठति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि लयमेष्यति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रत्येति त्वं भूमिरापो नलो निलो नभः त्वं चत्वारि वाक्पदानि ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा ॐ गणपतये नमः त्वं गुणत्रयातीतः त्वं देहत्रयातीतः त्वं कालत्रयातीतः त्वं मूलाधारे स्थितोऽसि नित्यं त्वं शक्तित्रयात्मकः वाञ्योगिनो ध्यायन्ति नित्यं त्वं ब्रह्मास्त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वमिन्द्रस्त्वम् अग्निस्त्वं वायुस्त्वं सूर्यस्त्वं चन्द्रमा त्वं ब्रह्मवोद्भवस्त्वरोम् ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा ॐ गणपतये नमः गणादीन् पूर्वमुच्चार्य वरुणादीन् तदनन्तरम् अनुस्वारः परतरः अर्धेन्दुरसितं तारेण रुद्धम् एतत्तवमनुस्वरूपं दकारः पूर्वरूपम् अकारो मध्यमरूपम् अनुस्वारश्चान्त्यरूपं बिन्दुरुत्तररूपं नादः सन्धानं सगम्भिका सन्धिः तैषा गणेशविद्या गणकऋषिः नृत्यगायत्री छन्दः श्रीमहागणपतिर्देवता ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा ॐ गङ्गणपतये नमः ॐ गङ्गणपतये नमः ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गङ्गणपतये वरवरद सर्वगणं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा ॐ गङ्गणपतये नमः एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात् ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गङ्गणपतये वरवरद सर्वगणं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा ॐ गङ्गणपतये नमः एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशं कुशधारिणं रतं च वरदं हस्ते ब्राह्मोषगध्वजं रक्तं लम्बोदरं सोत्पकर्णकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैः सुपूजितं भक्तानुकम्पिनं देवं जगत्कारणमच्युतम् आविर्भूतं च सृष्ट्यादो प्रकृतेः पुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायति यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनां वरः ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गङ्गणपतये वरवरद सर्वगणं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा ॐ गङ्गणपतये नमः नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपतये नमस्ते लम्बोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्नविनाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गङ्गणपतये वरवरद सर्वगणं मे वशमानय स्वाहा स्वाहा महागणपतय इदं नमः ॐ मातूना इन्द्रक्ष्मन्तं चित्रं ग्रामं सङ्गृहाय महास्ति दक्षिणेन स्वाहा पाहित्वा त्रिगोर्मन्त्रिदेशं द्विमाघं द्विमात्रमोभिस्वाहा हित्वा शूरदेवा नमस्ताः समदितं भीमन्नगां वारं जय स्वाहा एकोन्विन्द्रं स्तवामेषानं वस्तस्वराजं राधा सावत्तशन्न स्वाहा वस्तो श्रुवागाशितं श्रवं सामागीयमानम् अभिराधा साधवदत् स्वाहा आनो मनदक्षिणेनाभिनुक्तेन प्रवृषा इन्द्रमानो वसोऽन्तर्षा स्वाहा वक्रमस्वाभारदशदानिष्णोदनानाम् आसोष्टदस्य वेद स्वाहा इन्द्रियमनुते अस्ति वानो विप्रेः स्वनित्वः अस्माभिः सुतं सानि स्वाहा यो दिवस्ते वाजा अस्मभ्यं स्पष्टं इन्द्राः वशैश्च मक्षुजारन्ते स्वाहा महागणपतय इदं नमः समस्तोपचारां समर्पयामि ॐ अस्मिन् कर्मणि अभिज्ञातप्रायश्चित्तानि दृश्ये ॐ अनाज्ञातनिराज्ञातविज्ञस्य प्रविधेनिलो अज्ञेतुस्तकर्मकस्तवं विवेकनिराकरं स्वाहा अज्ञेतन्नमः प्रातत्रा मनसादे लक्ष्याणे निश्चमन्वदे मत्तासः निष्कल्पोदाः कृतिविरामनिष्ठो देवामृतशो येजानि स्वाहा अज्ञेतन्नमः ॐ पुरुषसंहितो यज्ञो पुरुषसंहितः स्वाहा नमः ओम स्वाहा नमः ओम स्वाहा वायुवे नमः ओम स्वाहा सूर्याय नमः ओम स्वाहा प्रजापतये नमः स्मृतमया प्रकारेण महागणपति होमकर्मणि मध्ये संभाव्य समस्तदोष प्रायश्चित्तार्थं सर्वप्रायश्चित्तोमं घोष्यामि ओम भूर्भुवस्सुः स्वाहा प्रजापतये नमः श्री विष्णवे स्वाहा विष्णवे परमात्मने नमः नमो रुद्राय पशुपतये स्वाहा रुद्राय पशुपतये नमः तपोपस्पृष्ट्याः अस्मिन् कर्मणि सर्वप्रायश्चित्तार्थं केशवाय ओम करिष्ये ओम केशवाय स्वाहा केशवाय नमः नारायणाय स्वाहा नारायणाय नमः मानवाय स्वाहा मानवाय नमः गोविन्दाय स्वाहा गोविन्दाय नमः विष्णवे स्वाहा नमः मधुसूदनाय स्वाहा लोकनाय नमः विक्रमाय स्वाहा विक्रमाय नमः वामनाय स्वाहा वामनाय नमः श्रीधराय स्वाहा श्रीधराय नमः ऋषिकेशाय स्वाहा ऋषिकेशाय नमः पद्मनाभाय स्वाहा पद्मनाभाय नमः दामोदराय स्वाहा दामोदराय नमः अथ आज्यपूर्णाहुतिः आज्यपूर्णाहुति ओम सप्तमे अग्ने समितः सप्तजिह्वा सप्तर्षयः सप्तधाम प्रजानि सप्तहोत्राः सप्तधात्वा यजन्ति सप्तयोनीना वृणस्वा हृदयेना स्वाहा सप्तमत नमः अंत्यवाक्यप्रदोषाय प्रायश्चित्तं प्राणायामः ओम अधिदेवमग्रस्ताः ममदेवमग्रस्ताः सतसदेवमग्रस्ताः देवसविदप्रादावीः ओम स्वाहा अग्नेः उपस्थानं करिष्ये नरे नमः पुत्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं प्रकाशनान् युद्धदन्तमया देवा परिपूर्णं ततस्तुते प्रायश्चित्तानि शेषाणि तपः कर्मात्मकानि वै यानि तेषां शेषाणां श्रीकृष्णानुस्मरणं वरं श्रीकृष्णाय नमः श्रीकृष्ण महागणपते नमः पुनः पूजां करिष्ये आवाहि महागणपते नमो नमः आसनाद्विवधारात् मोक्षदां समर्पयामि कृताद्विवधारात् मोक्षदां समर्पयामि पाद्विवधारात् मोक्षदां समर्पयामि श्रीः सुबोधयामि ओम सुधाय नमः मेघदूताय नमः गोविन्दाय नमः ओम जगन्नाथाय नमः लंबोदराय नमः ओम विकटाय नमः विघ्नराजाय नमः विनायकाय नमः वेदवे नमः नाक्षाय नमः भवदन्ताय नमः गजाननाय नमः मुकुन्दाय नमः उत्पलनाय नमः विजयन्ताय नमः स्कन्दपूर्वजाय नमः विनायकस्वामिने नमो नमः महागणपते नमः महाविदपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि धूपदीपार्थं सदा समर्पयामि ओम नमः समर्पयामि ओम हरा देवलो गणेश भगवान की जय ओम योगां श्रुवेदा भगवान भगवान स्नान भवति नमावां पुष्पं भगवान भगवान स्नान भवति देवं वेदा योगामायतनं वेदा आयतनवान् भवति please be with me यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मांतर कृतानि च तानि तानि विनश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे सुमुखश्च एकदन्तश्च कपिलः गजकर्णकः लंबोदरश्च विकटः विघ्नराजः विनायकः धूमकेतुः गणाध्यक्षः बालचन्द्रः गजाननः वक्रतुण्डः शूर्पकर्णः हेरम्बः स्कन्दपूर्वजः षोडश एतानि नामानि यः पठेत् शृणुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा संग्रामे सर्वपाद्येषु विघ्नः तस्य न जायते वागीशाद्याः समनसः सर्वार्थानाम् उपक्रमे यन्नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युः तन्नमामि गजाननम्। महागणपतये नमः। सर्वेषां भक्तमहाजनानाम् अनेककोटिप्रदक्षिणं प्रार्थना नमस्कारान् समर्पयामि। वेदोक्तं पुष्पाञ्जलिं समर्पयामि। तत्तरामदासमस्तोपचारान् समर्पयामि। मया पूजया महागणपते प्रीयताम्। ॐ दिव्येकमेतदेवाः दामिदर्पाणि पुष्पाभ्याम् रेहनापं महिमानस्तदन्ते प्रपूर्वे साध्यास्तिदेवाः तत्त्वायां ब्रह्मणा अमृतमानस्ताशास्ते यजमानभिः अहेयमानो वृणेन भवद्भूषणसमानः आयुर्प्रमोषी अस्मात् कुम्भाते श्रीवल्लभमहागणपति सहित वर्णं यथा सुष्ठास्थानं प्रतिष्ठापयामि शोभनार्थे देवाधर्मरागमनाय च। Moment is finished. Now I'm going to do the blessing. I'm going to give you prasad. This is special Ashuran for those who graduated in the school for students. Okay. Om Sada Saspadim Padim Sada Saspadi Madbhodam Padim Sada Saspadi Madbhodam Padimadbhodam Padim Padimadbhodam Priyamadbhodam Padim Padimadbhodam Priyam Adbhodam Priyamadbhodam Priyamindrasyendrasya Priyamadbhodam Priyamindrasya Priyamindrasyendrasya Priyamindrasya Kamyamindrasya Priyamindrasya Kamyam Indrasya Kamyamindrasyendrasya Kamyam Kamyamiti Kamyam Sanim Medham Sanim Medhamaya Shisham Medham Sanim Medhamaya Shisham Medhamaya Shisham Ajashishamityaja Shisham Sada Saspadi Madbhodam Priyamindrasya Kamyam Sanim Medhamaya Shisham Drabinodat Drabinasasturasya Drabinodas Sararasya Prayam Sate Drabinoda Viravati Mission Not Drabinodara Asate Dirghamajuhu Vallabha Mahaganapati Paripurna Anugraha Prasadena Sarvesham Bhakta Mahajananam Sarvesham Vidyarthinam Cha Uttarottaram Shreyobhivruddhirastu Sankalpita Sarva Karkeshu Vidayatva Siddhirastu.
Manju, switch to Tripadiji.
Yeah, so Tripadiji, please come online and provide your blessings as well as to the graduates. Chai Raman Uncle, can you see if we can unmute him or?
Let me check. I do not see an audio connection on his side.
Okay. If not, we can.
We may have to come back to this later on. I think it's
yeah. We can. There's going to be a brief introduction by Rajdhani Mandir towards the end. We can have him provide his blessings then as well. Padmanti, I throw it to you to introduce Prabhakar for us.
Thank you, Manju. Hi, everyone. Mr. Prabhakar Tyagarajan has been associated with Sri Siva Vishnu Temple for a number of years and has served in various capacities of management, including Cultural Committee Coordinator, Vice Chair Operations, and currently serving as the Chairman of the Board of Trustees for the past 1.5 years. He lives in Howard County with his wife and 2 children. Prabhakar?
Okay, Tripathi ji is not here, so I came. He called me to give the blessing from Rajdhani Temple. We are here.
Manju, do you want
Yeah,
to?
I think if perhaps
Yeah.
Tripathi ji he can give the blessings and then I'll.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I was on mute. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Rajdhani Mandir, please go ahead.
Yes, Tripathi is not here. I am Pandit Motilal Sharma from this temple. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please continue.
Yeah, my name is Pandit Motilal Sharma. I'm just, he told me to give the blessing, so I'm here. So,
please go ahead.
Okay. Om. Om Swasti na Indro Vriddhasavaha Swasti na Pugha Vishvedaha Swasti na Staraksho Arishtanemi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadatu Brahman Brahmado Brahma Varchashi Jayata Maharashtre Rajanyaha Sura Ikhabhyoti Vyadhi Maharatho Jayatan Dogdhirdenur Bodhanadvanasuhu Shakti Purandiryoga Jishnu Ratheshtha Saveyo Yuvasya Yajama Nasya Viro Jayatam Nikame Naha Rajanyo Varekhatu Palapatyo Na Okhadaya Pacyantam Yogakshevo Naha Kalpatam Om Deho Santirantariksha Shanti Prithivi Shantirapa Santirokadaya Santirvanaspataya Santirvishve Deva Santirbrahma Santi Sarvagum Shanti Shantireva Santi Sama Santiredhi Sushantirbhavatu Sarvarishta Shantirbhavatu Shumangalam Bhavatu Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu Mangalam Garudaಧ್ವಜः Mangalam Pundarikaksho Mangalayatano Hari Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay.
Thank you. Prabhakar uncle, if you'd like to continue.
Yeah. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste to all. And on behalf of the SSVT Board of Trustees, hearty welcome to all of the class 22 high school graduates who are here today along with their family members. Congratulations to all of you. All of us at the Sri Siva Vishnu Temple are very proud of what you have accomplished. Your graduation celebrations have changed drastically this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. They have become virtual events without the grand in-person pomp and circumstance of celebrations. This year, SSVT decided to host its first graduation event and began planning for it about 6 months ago. Obviously, when the pandemic started, we had to change our plans to make it virtual. But just the fact that it's virtual doesn't take away from the importance and excitement that I'm sure you all feel and we all at SSVT feel at your graduation. As you go on to take up new endeavors, never forget your ethnic, religious, and cultural roots. I would urge you to visit your temple as many times that you're able to do so, and help the temple continue our traditions and keep the Hindu Dharma, sustain Hindu Dharma and keep it alive for generations to come. Whether it's through education, religious, or cultural, your involvement with our temple will help shape not only the future of the temple, but also help the cause of making known the Hindu Dharma and all the valuable things it comes with that we can share with our communities around us and with the country at large. The education committee at SSVT has been doing innovative things for the last 3 years. And I would like to thank Vijay Kumar and Aparna Ramaswamy, who have really taken the education activities at the temple up several notches from where it used to be a few years ago. They will be in touch after today's program for you to learn more. SSVT is glad to have partnered with Rajdhani Mandir and collaborated with them for this event. With that, I would like to conclude and say that I hope all of you enjoy the rest of today's program. I know that we have some impressive keynote speakers lined up, as well as a program to honor your accomplishments. May the deities at Sri Shiva Vishnu Temple bless you as you commence on the next chapter in your life. Once again, congratulations and my best wishes to all of you in your future endeavors and careers. Enjoy your special day. Thank you and namaste. Back to you.
Thank you, Prabhakar. Thank you. So next, we'll have our first speaker, the student speaker, Nisha Ramamurthy. Nisha is a rising third-year student at UNC Chapel Hill. She's majoring in health policy and management with a specific interest and passion for socioeconomic disparities in the healthcare delivery, especially in cancer treatment. She's on the pre-med track and plans on applying to med schools next summer. This summer, she's working for a clinic for underinsured and uninsured patients in North Carolina, delivering COVID-19 testing results and following up with patients who test positive. Additionally, she's planning to write a paper on the data analysis she gathers from her work she's doing this summer and present it at the Gilling School of Public Health. Outside of classes and work, she's a part of a club called Get Covered Carolina, through which she just became a CMS certified application counselor for health insurance. She travels around the Raleigh-Durham area to educate people about health insurance, with the goal being, of course, to enroll as many people as possible. Outside of school at Chapel Hill, some of her favorite things to do are hike to nearby trails with friends, explore Chapel Hill's food scene, and also volunteer to walk campus dogs that are brought in during exam weeks to help alleviate students' stress. She claims to be not the stereotypical straight A 4.0 pre-med college student, but would love to be a resource to any of the graduating seniors who would like advice or insight as they prepare to start their undergraduate career. Without further ado, I present Nisha Ramamurthy.
Hello, class of 2020, now class of 2024. First off, congratulations. I know this feels like a great accomplishment, and it definitely is, so go have fun, go enjoy this summer. This might be the last summer that you have without a commitment for the next 4 years, so start a hobby or travel, just really take the time to unwind before starting college. College is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Some people describe it as the best 4 years of your life. I'm not actually sure if that's true, but it's definitely different from everything that you've experienced so far. There is, of course, the newfound freedom of going to school away from home, living on your own, and being pretty much solely responsible for your well-being. You can start new hobbies with this freedom, make new friends, join clubs. You will also be able to explore your academic interests to an extent that you've likely never experienced before, with an almost unlimited amount of opportunity and resources to really jumpstart the career that you envision for yourself. However, with all this wealth and power, definitely comes a lot of responsibility and commitment. College is a significant step up from high school. I remember expecting this in the academic sense, but it also rings true in the social, mental, and emotional standpoints. No one will keep you on your tracks. You pretty much care for yourself, and your family will not be there to support you as much as they have been so far. Your professors, quite honestly, do not care whether you do your homework or turn in assignments, study for tests. You are essentially your sole advocate. This means that stepping up personal responsibility and organizational habits is a complete must. This also requires maturing in how you view yourself and your academics. Balancing that personal accountability with also being kind to yourself and not harping on failures is definitely difficult to strike, but once you do figure out how to balance those for yourself, college definitely becomes more manageable and not so intimidating. That can take the first year, the first semester or more, but eventually it will make sense. So in regards to the academic impact of this step up, personally, I have gotten my butt kicked in a couple of classes since starting college. It definitely affects your confidence and forces you to change study habits, but when you come out at the end of it, the feeling of relief and overcoming that obstacle is mostly worth all the tears. I've actually never struggled more academically than this past semester with my Orgo 2 class. And with that being said, comparison is also evil in college. You will be taking many classes with people who have similar interests and goals as you, especially if they're in same or similar majors. And this pool will narrow as you go through the different semesters. So now I'm pretty much in classes full of pre-meds, very competitive, very comparison rich. And unfortunately, these types of environments do breed comparison and competition, which can make it a bit of a toxic environment. So these honestly just pose more of a setback to your own progress, and I would recommend trying to avoid them as much as you can. I can't tell you how many times my friends have gotten better grades than me on exams, and it did make me doubt my own ability and just exacerbate my test anxiety. It's not worth it at all, and quite honestly, nobody is perfect. As cliche as that is, the truth is that some people are better at some classes than others, and that's fine. College is really meant for finding your niche and what you're good at and what you enjoy, and once you find that, your confidence and your performance definitely do improve. Until then, though, it is important to try and avoid the toxic mindset of comparison and competition. Many times I have actually studied and tutored friends who supposedly did not know what they were doing at all, and they ended up doing much better than me on the exam, which is a tough feeling. It really made me question whether I knew what I was doing, whether I know how to study correctly. The reality is that people learn differently, and that's fine. So finding whatever works for you is definitely key and may take time, but will definitely pay off in the future. It can also be easy to experience the infamous imposter syndrome as you start out in college, but I want you to remember that your raw work and your ability is what got you to the position that you're in. Your university did deem you capable and in possession of the tools that they believe you need to succeed at their institution, which means you definitely can do it. There's a reason why you've gotten to where you are. I've had my fair share of self-doubt and imposter syndrome since starting college in these first 2 years, and I've definitely had moments where I look around the room and felt like I didn't deserve to be there. The likely truth is that everyone in the room has felt the same way that I've felt at one point or another, and that it's false. You definitely deserve what you've worked for, what you've earned, and whenever you feel like that, just know that it is a temporary feeling and does not mean that you're any less capable than anyone else. There are definitely ups and downs in the college academic experience, but it forces you to grow as both a student and a person in the best way. From a social standpoint, this can definitely vary from person to person. For me, I actually went to an out-of-state public school, almost knowing nobody there, and making friends definitely took work. I wasn't like the other kids who essentially got the North Carolina edition of going to UMD and knowing a ton of people there already from high school. It definitely was difficult. And even though making friends can still be hard if you go to a school where you already know people, it is definitely harder going to a school where you don't know anybody. To people who are walking into an experience similar to my own, fair warning, making friends almost becomes an objective, similar to getting good grades. It definitely takes effort, and depending on your personality, putting yourself out there can be exhausting, especially if you plan on rushing a sorority or fraternity. However, some of my closest friends I've made have been from random gen ed classes or the library or even the campus bus. College is definitely difficult, but making new friends is probably the most fun aspect. With such a large pool of people living in a mild radius of you, you are bound to find someone that you really connect with, and that is one of the best feelings. Overall, try your best to connect with people. It may be difficult or lonely the first semester or so, but it definitely does get easier over time. Along this line, I'm also assuming that rooming situations do vary for everybody, whether you're rooming with someone that you already know or you're getting randomly assigned. In either case, rooming with someone can pose challenges. Sometimes I just wanted to watch Netflix after a long day of studying in classes, and my roommate this semester insisted on lights out at 10 p.m. and that my laptop screen made it difficult for her to sleep. So the art of compromise and picking your battles is definitely significant in the rooming aspect. I have not yet roomed with any of my closest friends so far, and a word of advice that I've heard from most of my friends is to actually avoid this. I've definitely witnessed a few close friendships deteriorate over time from rooming together and, bottom line, just spending too much time together. That doesn't mean that it's true for everybody, but in any rooming situation, no matter what, compromise and empathy are musts. So if you are opting for a random roommate assignment, as I did my freshman year, I know that can be a bit of a daunting situation, but make the best of it and try to find common ground. Honestly, at the end of the day, you don't need them to be your best friend. Really, all you need in a roommate is civility and cleanliness, and that's it. You'll be fine. As for the mental and emotional aspect, I firstly do want to present myself as a resource for anyone who ever wants to talk about stress or anxiety, as I definitely know more than a thing or two about those. Similar to everything else I've mentioned, college has the potential to also test these aspects more than before. You're on your own for the first time in a high-stress environment with lots of challenges along the way. It's important to have people in your life that you can vent to, because I would say most issues that people experience in their first year are not unique or rare. There are many people who feel the same way. So you should feel as though you have at least one person to talk to and vent. As I've, in my experience, venting to friends about being stressed or being anxious definitely helps a lot. A few general tips: make sure to research your professors before registration. Attend office hours as much as you can and build a relationship with your professor. Don't be just one face out of 300 sitting in the lecture hall. Also know when to call it a night from studying and watch some Netflix, unwind with friends, catch up on sleep. You are not a robot, so be kind and forgiving to yourselves and enjoy the experience. It can sometimes feel like trying to drink from a fire hydrant hose, but you are capable. Feel free to reach out to me for any advice throughout your first year or your college experience overall, and good luck. I am so excited to see what you all will achieve in your 4 years. Hello, class of 20.
Sorry, put myself on mute. Yeah, so Nisha Ramamurthy. So I now hand it off to Krishnaswamy Uncle to introduce our first keynote speaker.
It's with great pleasure and honor I introduce today's keynote speaker, Padmanabhan Shrikant Sri Srinivasan, an American attorney and jurist serving as the Chief United States Circuit Judge of the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. Srinivasan was born in 1967 in Chandigarh, in India. His family hails from Mela Thiruvenkata Anantapuram, a village near Tirunelveli, Tamil Nadu. His family emigrated to Lawrence, Kansas in the early 70s when Srinivasan was just 4 years old. And he graduated from the Lawrence High School in Lawrence and went on to Stanford University, where he got his Bachelor of Arts degree in '89 and then earned a JD MBA in 1995 from the Stanford Law School and Stanford Graduate School of Business, respectively. After the law school, Srinivasan worked as a law clerk for the United States Courts of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit Judge Harvey Wilkinson, and then was a clerk. He clerked under the Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. After his clerkship, Srinivasan worked for a law firm, O'Melveny and Myers in DC, and then later on joined the Office of the United States Solicitor General, where he worked from 2002 until 2007. He went back to the Mulvaney firm as a partner, and he represented ExxonMobil and Enron and other companies in the Supreme Court. Srinivasan also was a lecturer at the Harvard Law School, where he taught a course on Supreme Court and appellate advocacy. In 2005, he received the Office of the Secretary of Defense Award for Excellence from the United States Department of Defense. On 2011, Srinivasan was appointed to replace Neil Katyal as the Principal Deputy Solicitor General of the United States. President Obama nominated him as a judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the DC Circuit in 2013. When he nominated them, the United States Senate confirmed him by a vote of 97-0. Srinivasan succeeded Merrick Garland as the Chief Judge in 2020. If you see that he replaced Neil Katyal, and then he succeeded Merrick Garland, the two, very great people. And Srinivasan has been appointed as the Chief Judge in 2020. Srinivasan lives in Arlington, Virginia, with his wife, Carla Garrett, and their two children, Maya and Vikram, who are twins. Without much ado, I present Sri Srinivasan.
Dear graduates, heartiest congratulations on your graduation from high school as part of the class of 2020. And parents and families of the graduates who are watching today, congratulations to you as well on this special occasion for you, as I know the role you'll have played on the road to this occasion and the pride and love you feel today. How, you might ask me both as graduates and family, could I purport to have a sense of your pride, emotions, and sense of accomplishments today? It's because of this. I'm not only addressing you as something of an outsider, speaking to you and your families about your graduation from high school as part of the class of 2020. I'm myself a parent of kids who, like you, are part of the class of 2020. So this is my and my family's experience too. My twins just graduated last week from Washington Liberty High School in Arlington. I know the road they and you have traveled, the challenges and triumphs along the way, the sense of accomplishment that attends graduation, and the excitement, anticipation, uncertainty, and possible nervousness you may feel about what lies ahead. I also know that you, like my kids, were expecting a far different type of graduation and end to your senior years than what you're experiencing. I'm addressing all of you by video today instead of in person at a live event because of unexpected and challenging circumstances beyond your control. You had likely anticipated a period of intense togetherness with friends in the time leading to graduation, including a host of celebratory senior events, a prom maybe, spring school activities and sports, a live commencement, and just hanging out socially and taking stock together of your journey to graduation. But instead of intense togetherness, you've experienced unprecedented distancing. That's why I'm addressing you today by video in a virtual ceremony rather than your being celebrated together in one place in person. But none of that in any way should take away from your accomplishment or diminish the sense of pride and satisfaction you should feel. Just the opposite. You are a special class, the class of 2020. No class in our lifetimes, and hopefully no class in the time ahead, will have confronted the profound dislocation and unsettlement that you've experienced in the time leading up to your graduation. That makes all of you, and my kids too, special. It makes you singular, and although you've experienced unprecedented distancing from your classmates, that itself bands you together as a class in a unique way. The class of 2020 is not just a class from a particular school or community, it's a class that throughout the nation and even the world shares a common and intense experience unlike any class before. That's why you've had common national graduation ceremonies with a national audience and addresses by national figures. Every graduating class makes history in some measure, but that has never been more true of a class than yours. You are firmly a part of history in a profound way, and all of you should be immensely proud about that. As we honor and recognize what you've experienced and accomplished, let's also appreciate that so much lies ahead for you. And let me offer you two related suggestions about the broader world you now enter and your relationship to it. First, serve the community in some way. An integral aspect of serving the community effectively is recognizing that you fully belong in it. I know we can sometimes feel like we don't belong or can be made to feel that way, and that sense can come from many places, especially if we're reminded that we may seem different in various respects. I know this. I've experienced it firsthand in quite significant ways, but let me assure you, you do belong. For the people involved in this particular ceremony, think about how much has changed in this respect for us. Almost 100 years ago, the Supreme Court held that a person from India, whom the court referred to as a high caste Hindu of full Indian blood, couldn't become an American citizen because citizenship was restricted by law to white persons. I couldn't have been an American citizen for a long time, but the law changed over time to expand citizenship to encompass me and others like us, and I gained my citizenship in this country just after college. And while being welcomed into a community and becoming part of it is one thing, there's no better way to validate one's belonging in a community than to serve it in some way. When you serve the community, you reaffirm your commitment to it and your belonging in it. And that spirit of service is an essential part of what ties together the faith community collected today in this virtual space. Service to the community will bring you fulfillment and purpose and direction. It will broaden your perspective. It will remind you of all that you and all of us should be thankful for, and it will offer the promise of bringing others in the community to a better place. Second, when we're part of a community, we treat each other with respect, and we expect the best in one another rather than assume the worst. But you are coming of age in a time when it's very tempting, even fashionable, to prove one's own worthiness by calling out someone else's perceived unworthiness. It's easy to retreat to one's own corner with one's own team of like-minded people and assume the worst of anyone who may see the world differently in certain respects, to assume that they just don't or can't get it, and that it's useless to try to engage. Resist that temptation. Don't be too quick to judge others. Instead, assume good faith in others, at least until proved otherwise, and be open to listening and even learning from them. And in turn, you'll inspire others to listen to and learn from you. That's one of the hallmarks of a well-functioning community, and you can lead others to treat one another with respect and a spirit of inclusion by exemplifying those attributes. If you can do your part to usher in that kind of spirit, we'll all be very much the better for it. So I say to you, go forward and be part of the broader community in all the right ways, by recognizing your belonging in it, by serving it, and by treating others in it with respect and expectations of good faith. All the very best to you and your families in the time ahead, and congratulations again to all of you from a charter member of the Parent Fan Club of the Class of 2020. Dear graduates,
I hope you guys enjoyed his message. Next keynote address will be by Hari Srinivasan. Vasu uncle, please introduce him.
Thank you, Manju. Our next keynote speaker is the eminent journalist and TV news anchor, Honorable Mr. Hari Srinivasan. He was born in Mumbai, India in 1974 and emigrated to the US at the age of 7 with his family to Seattle, Washington area. He graduated with a degree in mass communications with a minor in politics and philosophy from the University of Puget Sound. He started working with the NBC affiliate in Raleigh, North Carolina in 1995. To say that he has had a meteoric rise in network television news business is an understatement. He worked in ABC and CBS news organizations. In 2009, he joined PBS and became an online and on-air correspondent for the prestigious program News Hour with Jim Lehrer. In 2013, he became the weekend anchor of the PBS News Hour Weekend. He also stands in for the current News Hour anchor, Judy Woodruff, when she's away on assignment. In addition to his role as senior correspondent at PBS NewsHour, he anchors SciTech Now, a science program produced by the PBS affiliate in Long Island. He is also a correspondent for Amanpour and Company, produced by WNET in Manhattan, New York. So obviously he has many, many roles in the news business. In 2014, Srinivasan co-hosted a talk with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi when PM Modi visited New York, had a mega event in the Madison Square Garden. For his work, Srinivasan has received multiple outstanding broadcast story awards from the South Asian Journalists Association. We are extremely happy to have Mr. Hari Srinivasan give a keynote address to the graduates of 2020. Here is Mr. Hari Srinivasan.
Hey, graduating class of 2020. My name's Hari Srinivasan. I work on a few different PBS news programs. Thank you very much for letting me play a small part in this crazy year of yours. You know, when I got this request, I thought, wait, this is the luckiest class in the world. First of all, John Krasinski didn't throw a prom for me where my class got music by Billie Eilish, Jonas Brothers, Chance the Rapper.
Prom 2020!
The artist JR did not make the world's biggest yearbook for my year, but he did for you. You had a massive TV program with LeBron.
Tonight, we honor 12 years of your hard work.
And Rapinoe.
This is your moment.
Alicia Keys played. You even had President Obama give you advice.
Don't be afraid.
So what could I possibly say? There are plenty of more famous and more powerful Srinivasans, right? Some people are going to tell you that you can do anything.
You can do anything you want when you sexy.
But let's be honest, not all of us are sexy. There are always going to be people who nag about what you're doing with your life. But that's not really my style. Let's be honest for a minute. You guys did have it tough. You missed out on one of the rites of passage in American life, but you also got to spend time at home. Okay, maybe it was too much time at home, but trust me, if you're moving somewhere for college or a job or the military, you'll recognize later in your life what a gift this time was.
Avocado! Thanks!
It's not gonna be like this anymore. Advice-wise, I can tell you the basics, the stuff that your parents have probably told you and you didn't listen to them. Be open to new ideas, especially when you're meeting new people or going new places. Take an improv class because your life won't follow a script. Be unafraid. When you turn 18 and we consider you a functioning adult in society, it does not mean you won't fail. You're going to fail at something. It's okay. What's more important is how you respond to that failure. Be an agent of change for your own life. You have a tremendous amount of power even when you do not think you do. Be kind. Do I need to explain that? Also, nothing you think will make you happy will, not the next dollar, next job, next car, next house, not even the next partner, not until you get comfortable with who you are. All those things from the outside cannot make up for what's not inside you. So what can you do to level up? Put in the work. Be persistent.
Yes, let's go!
Take aim. Be patient. And then you gotta have what's known as fire in the belly. You have to want something so bad that it can make you do the seemingly impossible. Also, not just because this is an election year, but go register to vote. This is your city, your country, your planet, your future that we oldies are deciding on. Take this from us, please. And finally, take comfort in this one fact. Know that the class of 2021 just will not be as memorable or special as you. Congratulations again. Hey.
Perfect. And now I will be turning it over to Aparna Aunty to commence the award ceremony. Aparna Aunty?
Yes, I am here. I don't know how y'all are doing, if y'all need to kind of get up. You've been sitting in one spot. But that's incredible keynotes. And also want to take a moment to thank our priests who did our opening homa, who blessed us, and the various keynotes that have gone on so far. But this event is really about y'all, right? So this is a celebration of y'all, not so much of coming here to hear about what we do or what people have to say to you. Because in some ways, reading your essays, reading what your accomplishments are, I suspect that there is a lot that we have to learn from you. So when I was reading your essays, what jumped at me was the themes that are there for each one of you in terms of what are you about? There was obviously academic excellence, looking at your GPAs, looking at your SAT scores. There was a strong history of volunteer service. And through it all, it was almost a pursuit of how have each of you improved yourself education-wise, arts-wise, social service, community engagement, only to turn it around to serve others. And in some ways here, and Vijay would speak a little more about it probably and better, that is what Dharma is about. Pursuing your own self-growth, not for a selfish purpose, but to serve others. So when we look at education, what do I mean by academic excellence? Looking at Aditya's background, he's talking about preserving endangered languages in India as a way for people to hold on to culture. Looking at Devin's background, tutoring underprivileged students. Mehul, technology manual for seniors. I think that's pretty cool. In fact, I'd love a copy of that. Shruti, the curiosity to understand through science, why does something happen? The critical reasoning. Harsha, the interest to go into cybersecurity, the wealth of education pursuits. And each one of you has not talked about, I want to do it because I want to get a few alphabets after and before my name. It has been in service of others to relieve suffering. Suhas, using technology, apps to relieve anxiety, mental illness. And Rohita, psychiatrist, once you become a psychiatrist, to relieve mental suffering. Such incredible lessons that each one of you are teaching us. I don't know if any one of us in this room, certainly not me, was that passionate, focused as you all are. And the social change. Samyukta's history of being a woman Gatan prayer. I want to break barriers, empower women, include youth in bringing about social change. And of course, Suchit, the Future Problem Solver Club. I just love that. So as we go through our various parts, we go through how are we going to introduce yourself. This is kind of how we've set it up. We've said, one, how do we as people witnessing the beauty of each one of you? Speaking for myself, I was nothing like you all, and I think many of us in this room will say that. Y'all are incredible. So how can we match you in a way and honor you, inspire you with an award named after someone phenomenal in India? And say, that's who you remind us of, and that's who you can be, the movers and shakers of tomorrow. And then a little PowerPoint slide on who you are, what is your background, and what are some things that really pop out when you talk about your inspirational quotes, your essays, who you really are. And I really hope that we have the honor or the blessing of staying in touch with you. Not so much because you have to, but we need to. There's so much that we need to learn from you and have you help us make the changes that we probably cannot make on our own. So we're going to go through a few PowerPoint-ish things. It won't take too long, and then we'll come to the end of our part. The Aryabhatta Award for Scholasticism is awarded to Aditya Kere from Langley High School. Aryabhatta lived in the 5th century Common Era and was the first of major mathematician astronomers from the classical age of Indian mathematics and Indian astronomy. He also qualifies as a major early physicist. His written work, the Aryabhatiya, is a compendium of mathematics and astronomy covering arithmetic, algebra, trigonometry, fractions, and many more mathematical concepts. India's first satellite is named after him, Aryabhatta. Coming to Aditya Kere, Aditya is graduating from Langley High School with an interest in computer science and natural language processing, which he describes as computers discerning human emotions and speech in their interaction. His goal is to preserve endangered languages. He refers to 191 such languages just in India alone. And the reason he wants to do it is for a way to provide for future generations to stay connected with their culture, their roots. He's got extensive past volunteer work as a proposal writer for Seva Bharati Telangana. And his quote from Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's speaks volumes on his humility and interconnectedness. And the tree laden with fruits always bends low. If you wish to be great, be lowly and meek. Aditya Kere, the recipient of Aryabhatta Award. The Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Award for Scholasticism is awarded to Suhas Narayanan. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan lived in the 1900s. He was an Indian philosopher, academic scholar, and a statesman who served as the first Vice President of India and the second President of India. He was one of India's most distinguished scholars of comparative religion and philosophy. He was also the first Indian to hold a professorial chair position at the University of Oxford. His translations of the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads are benchmarks of Indian philosophical studies. His birthday is celebrated as Teachers' Day in India. So Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Award to Suhas Narayanan. Suhas is graduating from Chantilly High School, and his interests in extracurricular activities include an active interest in robotics, in music, and computer science. He quotes Alexander Borodin in saying that self-imposed limitations of exclusivity, that if you are one, you cannot be the other, he finds artificial. And he says he would like to be a multidisciplinary scholar, almost a Renaissance man. And his goal, his mission, his desire is to use technology to relieve suffering and anxiety in the world. And he aims to create an app to help people suffering from mental disorders. Suhas, the recipient of Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Award. The Bhaskaracharya Award for Scholasticism is awarded to Devon Linthicum. Now, Bhaskara too lived in the 12th century CE. He has been called the greatest mathematician of medieval India. His work, the Siddhanta Shiromani, has 4 distinct sections on arithmetic, algebra, mathematics of the planets, and spheres. His work on calculus, in fact, is believed to predate Newton. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, named a spacecraft after Bhaskara too. And this award is presented to Devon Linthicum. Devon is a high school graduate from John Champ High School with extracurricular activities that include year-round swimming, with a commitment to tutoring underprivileged students. His academic interest is in physics, and he is exploring career options. So Devon Linthicum, the recipient of Bhaskaracharya Award. Trichur Subramaniam Rukmani Award, T.S. Rukmani Award for Scholasticism is awarded to Rohita Giduthuri. Professor T.S. Rukmani, who is a present-day scholar, holds a PhD in Sanskrit and a later Doctor of Letters that was awarded to her in recognition of her translations on yoga philosophy. She was a faculty in various academic institutions in India, South Africa, and more recently, prior to her retirement in 2012, she served as the chair of Hindu Studies at Concordia University in Montreal. So the T.S. Rukmani Award goes to Rohita Giduthuri. Rohita is a graduate from Marriott's Ridge High School and has numerous extracurricular activities. Most noteworthy is the over 500 hours, 600 hours of service in hospitals and emergency care facilities. And then as a fundraiser for her school with over 300 hours of volunteer service. Her goal is to become a psychiatrist, to offer relief for suffering and build a world that is equitable for all, where there is suffering that is lessened. So Rohita, who is a recipient of Professor T.S. Rukmani Award. The Chanakya Award for Scholasticism is presented to Mehul Sachdev from Savarna Park High School. Chanakya, who is believed to have lived between 3rd century BCE and 3rd century CE, was an ancient Indian scholar, philosopher, economist, jurist, and royal advisor. He is identified as Kautilya, the author of the Indian political treatise titled Arthashastra, and his work is considered as an important precursor to classical economics. Historically, Chanakya also played a pivotal role in the establishment of the Mauryan Empire under the first emperor Chandragupta Maurya, who halted the advent of Alexander into India. The Chanakya Award is presented to Mehul Sachdev. Mehul is a high schooler graduating from Savarna Park Senior High School. His interests are varied. His primary goal seems to be to use technology to empower others. He has created a seniors technology use manual for nursing homes. He's also an active youth leader in the Chinmaya Mission program. His goal has been to use his personal moral compass of faith in service for betterment of others. And his strengths are perseverance with an acceptance leading to persistence and resilience, in keeping with his motto, his quote of keep moving forward. Pick yourself up and keep going. Samyukta Sriram is a recipient of Gargi Award for Scholasticism. Gargi, who's lived around the 7th century BCE, was an ancient Indian philosopher. She is an honored expounder of Vedas, called a Brahmavadini, and is also named in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad as a philosophical debater. She's also said to have written many hymns in the Rig Veda and is honored as a scholar and philosopher. Gargi Vachaknavi Award presented to Samyukta Sriram. Samyukta is a high schooler graduating from Briarwoods High School, and as you read her application and her resume, if you will, there's so many strengths of leadership, volunteerism, service, and a deep passion in the performing arts. Especially noteworthy is the breaking of barriers as a young woman guttam player, unusual, focusing on the empowerment of people as they make their personal choices and autonomous choices. Her goal is to create global change, including youth, almost a youth-driven manner that honors the intersectionality of social identities of our community. So Samyukta Sriram, the recipient of the Gargi Award. The Maitreyi Award for Scholasticism is presented to Shruti Ramesh, who is graduating from Centennial High School. Maitreyi, who lived in the 8th century BCE, was an Indian scholar who is mentioned in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and was also known as a Brahmavadini, an expounder of Veda. She appears in ancient Indian texts as a philosophical inquirer engaged in discussions around a person's Atman, or a soul. Maitreyi is considered a symbol of Indian intellectual women, and an institution is even named in her honor in New Delhi. The Maitreyi Award recipient, Shruti Ramesh. Shruti is an accomplished singer and musician who sings frequently in many programs, not only in the United States, but also in India and other places abroad. Her tremendous curiosity to understand sciences, combined with an honest desire to help and serve people, compels her to go into a field, a career of serving in the sciences. The openness to explore opportunities in even difficult situations, a quote that she lives by Winston Churchill. The Lopamudra Award for Scholasticism is granted to Harshya Gavaravarapu, who is graduating from Fairfax High School. Lopamudra was the wife of Sage Agastya and lived in the Rigveda period between 1950 and 1100 BCE. She was considered a philosopher with many of the Vedic hymns attributed to her. She was a prominent Brahmavadini and composed mantras in the Shakta tradition of Hinduism. The Lopamudra Award recipient, Harshya Gavaravarapu. Harshya is a graduate of the Fairfax High School with a lot of extracurricular activities, interests, with strengths in volunteerism, service, dedication, and her goal academically is to study cybersecurity. with a hard dedication to working hard. The Lopamutra Award to Harshya Gavaravarapu. The Surendranath Dasgupta Award is presented to Suchet Sapre. Surendranath Dasgupta lived 19th century Common Era, and he was a scholar of Sanskrit and philosophy. His doctorate at Cambridge was in philosophy, and he wrote extensively on Indian philosophical perspectives, darshanas as they are called. He synthesized aspects of Vedanta, Jainism, Western schools of realisms, and theory of emergent evolution. He was known for his debating and oratorical prowess. The Surendranath Dasgupta Award recipient, Suchet Sapre, is a graduate of Langley High School. Numerous extracurricular activities that speak to his academic excellence, leadership roles, numerous youth-driven organizations such as the Model UN, the Future Problem Solvers, and Varsity Tennis. And to quote Suchet, I realized that studying this field and learning how to apply it to problems in the world, he refers to computer science, would enable me to leave my own unique mark. I plan to pursue computer science throughout college simply because I'm inspired by its nearly limitless potential in improving. An honor to have these students grace our occasion and receive our awards. So that's kind of a little blip that came through per the questions we asked. Maybe we didn't ask you the right questions. Maybe we have not done as good a job to really get to know what is it that you have to offer, because you don't need us telling you, please help our community. You've been doing it. You don't need us telling you, come back and be connected. You've lived that. So it's our turn to kind of listen to you, to hear from you. What is it that we can do better? How can we help you access the community that you are wishing to serve? So it's a pleasure to have had you, read your work, what little we've read, and get to know you. So I'd like to hand over back to Manju to continue the rest of the ceremony. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Aparna Aunty. And really, the amount of accomplishments this graduating class has done is something that needs to be admired and recognized. I was thinking back to my own high school career, and I haven't even done a quarter of what you guys have done. And that was only 8 years ago. So it's really something to see how far and how accomplished these graduates are in particular. Give me 1 second. At this moment, I'd like I believe there's an individual from Rajdhani Mandir on the line as well, Ms. Prachi Sapri. Please go ahead and introduce Rajdhani Mandir's youth committee as well as the temple itself.
Hey, instead of my mother, I'll be talking on behalf of the Bal Vikas program in Rajdhani Mandir.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So the Rajdhani Mandir Bal Vikas program is a kids program that is fully run by volunteers under the guidance of Viranti Virapandi. We meet every Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. And the main goal of the program is to impart Hindu culture and value among the young kids. Kids learn meditations, slokas, artis, and read Hindu mythological stories that teach children moral values. And additionally, the kids learn the Hindi language, more specifically how to read, write, and speak Hindi. Personally, the Bal Vikas program helped me develop many skills in not only the Hindu language and culture, but also leadership and communication. And it has given me a deeper understanding of the importance community service and the role that I want to play within my community in the future. So I highly encourage people, if you have any brothers or sisters, know any people who have younger siblings that can join the program, definitely sign up. I think signups will be starting in the fall again. But yeah, it's an amazing program and I learned a lot from it. Thank you.
Thanks, Suchit. So before we go into the vote of thanks, I wanted to actually open up the floor to all of you, the graduates. What are some things you guys have done or picked up on? For example, a question that I've been thinking about is once, things kind of lighten up and we go back to some sort of normalcy, what is one food item from a restaurant that you guys want to go back and try? I, for one, I know there's a couple of restaurants in mind for me, but I know I need to get a haircut first before I do anything outside. So that's priority number one, is to get a haircut as soon as possible. Then go out and venture to the food scene around here. So I open it up to you guys to kind of talk about what you guys have been doing these past 3 months. I mean, for me, I've been working from home, so I don't see my coworkers or anything, so it's kind of weird in that sense. I've been FaceTiming with my friends. So what have you guys been doing? What's some new hobbies and things you've been picked up on? I don't want to pick up names, but all right, I'm going to pick up names. Drop of a hat, Shruti, why don't you kick us off?
Okay, so in terms of food, I really miss Taco Bell, especially hanging out with my friends in the Taco Bell parking lot after. So that's somewhere that I really want to go with my friends after quarantine is over. And yeah.
All right, and then
Manju, can I interrupt for a moment? Do you want to stop sharing your screen so we can see the...
Let's do that. Good idea. And you guys can go into like gallery view up top, and you guys can see all of us that are here. So Aditya, what is your plans after we kind of, what have you been doing? What are you planning on doing before going to college? Anything for the summer? I know traveling might be limited, but what do you plan on doing?
Yeah, so I guess the first question is, what food have I been missing? I've really been missing like Chick-fil-A, like the fries. That's definitely one of the things I want to do once quarantine is over. But for the summer, I've been working as a cybersecurity intern at a tech firm in Tyson's Corner called MITRE. I've been working remotely because the campus is kind of shut down and no intern is really allowed to go. So that's one thing I'm missing. And then in my free time, I've been trying to teach myself how to read and write Hindi. So that's going kind of well too.
Nice. That's cool. Suhas, what about you? What's something you're looking forward to after, before you go to college and between now and then? What have you been doing for the past 3.5 months?
So first, like one food item that I miss is that I want to try is Popeyes before I go. And I've never been to Dairy Queen, so I'd like to go there too. And I've been doing an internship for the Army Research Lab in Adelphi, Maryland, virtually. So just been doing research, and I'm gonna do some programming starting next week. And I've also learned how to cook puri and those and upma, and yeah. Oh yeah, and Vijay over there, like I've been going through the Google Drives for the Hindu schools of thought, and like learning more about our philosophy.
Nice. I just learned how to cook upma last week, and I'm 26 years old. So that's something that shows a lot for you to already know a couple of dishes under your belt. Devin, what about you? I know I caught you mid-yawn, but what have you been doing, and what's your plan for the next couple of months?
So I work in aquatics at my local rec center, and about a month after everything shut down, they actually called me back to help maintain and clean the facility. So I've been doing that a lot, and I started summer courses at Novo Community College, so I've been doing that too.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, those college credits will definitely transfer over, and you might luck out on some gen ed classes, 101, 100 level classes by doing that. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Samyukta, what about you?
So to answer the first question, which is what food I miss, I'd really like to go anywhere because I've been stuck at home for 3 months, as have everyone else. And apart from that, what I've been doing, a lot of sleeping, a lot of Netflix, and also I've been volunteering for the American Logistics Aid Network's supply chain management platform. They're trying to maintain a database for truck stops to kind of like support the economy of like the supply chain management platform. So just like helping maintain that database virtually. And then I've also been baking a lot and trying to do some online courses as well.
Nice. I hope your parents didn't hear you that you'd rather eat anything outside than a home cooked meal. But I remember when I was in college, like coming back home and eating my mom's food was like a blessing, and like it felt like heaven on earth of like, oh my God, I miss this food. Because college food, especially the ones in the cafeterias, as much as they sell it to you, it's really not that great. Like a home cooked meal is a lot more better than what they have at college. Mehul, what about you?
Well, first thing I'll get out of the way with my parents hovering over my shoulder is I've been really blessed to have all the Indian food I've been having, but I would be lying if I said that I'm not going to take advantage of the first opportunity to eat any other ethnic food, preferably some Mexican food, I think. There's some local restaurants around here that hopefully will start back up and we can visit and eat there. And then what else have I been doing over the summer? Well, I picked up a lot of different hobbies, I guess. A lot of the activities that my parents engage in as well have rubbed off on me. But along with, doing more adult type things like gardening and like walking and family time, I've also been, getting enrolled in summer classes. I started a remote internship, and I guess other than just eating other ethnic foods, I'm also looking forward to going to the movie theater for the first time, or, going on a hike, or kind of going back outdoors and hanging out with my friends.
Nice. And last but certainly not least, Sochit, what about you? What's something that you've been doing the past couple of months, or something you're looking forward to do in the upcoming months?
Yeah, for the food question, before I say what I've been missing, I just want to say that I absolutely love my mom's home cooking. She's right here. I just wanted to say that. And so like one outside food I've been missing is definitely Chipotle. And throughout the Corona break, I've been mainly spending time with family. I've been playing tennis and badminton with my brother like a lot recently because, we can't hang out with friends and stuff. And outside of just like sports and just general relaxation, I've been interning with George Mason University in computer science research. And I've been like, reading and trying to learn new things in my free time as well.
Gotcha. So Sochit and Mehul had the politically correct answer for the food situation. It's a test for all of you. And those two passed. Everyone else, I don't know if you guys are getting dinner tonight. I'm just saying. Harsha, I think I missed out on you, but what about you? What have you been doing these past couple of months, and what are you looking forward to before going to college?
So this past couple months, I've been working a lot, and I've been taking summer courses at Mason and Nova. And yeah, I've been spending a lot of time with my family, and I think it's been going great.
That's awesome.
Harsha, could you turn on your video if it's possible?
So
thank you.
That's really cool. Hey Vijay, do you have any ideas, any questions that's on your mind for these young geniuses that are going to be taking our jobs one day?
Yeah, right. Well, definitely first thing, we just straight up, we just love you guys. We saw that a lot of kids across the nation were not being able to, let's say, have full-on graduation ceremonies, full-on proms, graduation parties, all the things that normally graduates get to celebrate with as they make this huge transition. And we're hoping today that we could at least in some way be a part of your transition and this huge milestone in your lives. And I know, for example, like we have Suhas on the screen over here, and he's my nephew. So I owe him a trip to Vegas when this whole thing straightens out, and we can celebrate his celebrate graduation over there. And but just wanted to gauge you all as well. That like I know that, for example, Manju had mentioned working from home. Most of us have been working from home over the last several months, and there's an ongoing plan to possibly do so into the remainder of the summer for different organizations. There's even some talk about colleges going remotely in the fall until they get a full green light. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to engage with you, not just today and now, but going forward. We have a nonprofit that we've set up through the temple for education and service. We can offer internship opportunities and a lot of leadership project opportunities to help build your resumes going forward. We also want to learn from some of the big challenges you see in the world and in society because of the experiences that you have. So that way it's a bi-directional opportunity that we can learn from each other. So I guess one of the questions that I'd have across the board would be, are you guys even seeing challenges with going to school in the fall? Or are you seeing any challenges with identifying internship opportunities over the summer because of the virus and the opportunity space being smaller because of the virus? So these are some of the questions that we can have even when we follow up with each other after today. We'll send an email out to you guys, and we'll hopefully be able to figure out ways we could collaborate that we all actually form a good bond and form a good friendship as well across you as graduates and you with us as a temple and as a community. So really wonderful to see all of your work, read through your essays, read through your applications. You make me wish I was 18 years old and going back through it all again, because I would have had the opportunity to be there with you. And it's really, really inspiring to see each and every one of you.
Perfect. Thank you, Vijay. Also, Uncle, I think the last thing on our item is a vote of thanks. So if you'd like to proceed with that.
Sure, yeah. Hello, everyone. We have come to the end of the wonderful graduation program for the high school seniors. This event is the result of SSVT and Education Committee wanting to celebrate the graduation of high school graduates in the community. We hope that this event will mark a new era of engagement and celebrating the success of youth members in the community, along with the Education Committee, Religious Committee, the Cultural Committee. We all hope that all of you graduates can turn to your temples as a resource as you take on the new challenges and endeavors in your life. This program was also a collaboration and partnership with Rajdhani Mandir. We want to thank Rajdhani Mandir for this help and support of this event. We want to thank the priest, Pandit Murali Shankar Shastri ji from SSVT, Pandit Ram Sneh Tripathi ji and Motilal Sharma ji from Rajdhani Mandir for conducting the Homa and providing blessings to the graduates. We profusely thank our honorable guests, Chief Judge Sri Srinivasan and news anchor Hari Srinivasan, who gave inspiring keynote addresses. Both these guests have very busy schedules. They agreed to and delivered keynote addresses by video to the young graduates in spite of their busy schedules. Their speeches will inspire and guide the graduates as they take on new challenges and opportunities. We also thank Sri Shankaraya, who played a very important role in being the liaison with both the honorable guests and coordinating activities with them. This program would not have been a success without his help. We thank Raji Sapreji of Rajdhani Youth Group for joining us today and for Suchit Sapre to speak about the Bal Vikas program. Once again, congratulations and best wishes to the graduating class of 2020 who attended today's event. We wish the very best for them as they embrace the life with all the possibilities and challenges. We will end the program with a prayer for universal peace. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः May all be prosperous and happy. May all be free from illnesses. May all see what is spiritually uplifting for everyone. May no one suffer. May all be blessed with happiness, divine knowledge, bliss, and peace. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Congratulations again. Well deserved. And with that, I believe there will be a recording of this on YouTube at some point. Once it is, we will share it with everyone. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday and your weekend. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Manju. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for
Good
joining.
luck. Good luck and stay in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good luck, everyone.